Very funny. Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be reviewing a Star Wars book that came out months ago, but I haven't been able to get a hold of it until now. Finally borrowed the darn thing from the library. Bloodline by Claudia Gray. This is set before The Force Awakens. It's not exactly clear on how far apart Bloodline and Force Awakens are, but my camera's been acting up, so I'm going to have to make this as quick as I possibly can to make sure I get all of it in there. Okay, basic summary of Bloodline. It focuses mostly on Leia, with the little bits and pieces of her relationship with Han. Long story short, after 20 some odd years of freedom from the Empire, the New Republic seems to be going down the same slippery slope that the Old Republic started to shortly before the Clone Wars. And Leia, in short, she's pretty much sick of politics. She's just like, ugh, I'm tired of all this. Kind of like Carrie Fisher was saying in interviews for episode 7, she's tired, she's done, basically. At one point she tells Han, okay, I want to quit, I'll go fly around the galaxy with you, and Han's like, oh really, so what would you do with yourself without politics? But circumstances end up preventing Leia from resigning when she wants to, and she ends up running for an office that she's not really crazy about. I can't really remember much of the book, except that there's a lot of politics in it, and there's two different parties that are constantly at each other's throats. What does that sound like? Anyway, with the upcoming election, I'm kind of sick of politics myself, so I'm not going to go into all the politics in there, but let's just say there's a bunch of mudslinging and, you know, politics. People are rotten to each other. And someone from the other side, someone from a party that is not Leia's, ends up getting into some royal office that was connected with Alderaan, and finding something that was personally Leia's that her father left, that Bail Organa had left for her. And that has incriminating evidence of Leia's true parentage, who she and Luke have not told anyone. Basically, Luke, Leia, and Han are the only three that know the truth about Darth Vader being Luke and Leia's father. They haven't even told Ben. Well, this woman who finds this evidence ends up breaking it to the galaxy. And let's just say that's when the poodoo hits the fan. Leia now has to struggle to get in contact with her son, who's off training with Luke somewhere, and basically apologize for keeping it a secret from him his whole life. Apparently that's part of what turns Ben to the dark side. What I liked most about Bloodline was its depiction of Han and Leia, and how after 20 some odd years they're still completely in love with each other. It was really, really sweet to see their relationship. It's just, I mean, Han's off, you know, he's not home very often, but still totally in love with Leia, and it's like, it's so sweet to see. And it just makes Han's loss in Force Awakens all that much harder to take. What I didn't like about Bloodline was, like I said, politics, but at least what sort of redeemed it was seeing Leia in action again, you know, grabbing that blaster and shooting things and running around and just being the feisty princess we all know and love. That was great to see. So, the scoring for Bloodline, the story, it wasn't remarkable, so I give it a 7 out of 10. The plot line, there were a couple of surprising twists, but not, you know, it wasn't earth-shaking, like revelations about the beginnings of the First Order. It kind of like made me like, oh, but not gasp, since we already know basically what's going to happen in episode 7, so it's not like it's a surprise. So I give the plot an 8 out of 10. The depiction of the characters was pretty strong. Han and Leia were spot on. Sadly, there was like just a flashback scene of Luke, but even that was so much Luke that it does give me hope for his depiction in episode 8. So depiction of the characters, I would give an 8 out of 10. Writing, it's Claudia Gray. She did a good job in Lost Stars, and she did a good job in Bloodline, so the writing gets an 8.5 out of 10. Cover design, I'm not really fond of these silhouette, stark colors things. I prefer the old-fashioned painted things where you can see the expressions on their faces, but what are you gonna do? So I'd give the cover design a 7.5 out of 10. As for a three-dimensional villain, she seemed like a selfish, spoiled brat, so I can't give her any more than a 7 out of 10, and her motivations were 100% selfish. Thankfully, she got her comeuppance in the end. So that gets a 7 out of 10. Giving Bloodline by Claudia Gray a final score of 7.6 out of 10. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't terrible, so I may read it again. I've still got a couple of weeks before it has to go back to the library. But anyway, there we go. I don't think I'm going to be reviewing any more books since this one's stressing me out. Until next time, this is the Clumsy Jedi signing off. Bye, guys!